Hi, my name is Tery Trebino, and I am the superintendent of the flower show at the Jefferson County Fair. I'm here to tell you how to properly select flowers and prepare them for the fair, for showing. And because I want you to have the best specimen possible, and we need to have them dressed properly for the vases. The first thing you need to do is go get a fair book and look at all the possibilities that you can show. We have 87 different classes of individual flowers. And we also have 22 classes for collections, which is more than one flower of the same type. A collection is, it could be like there's 3 types of roses, or you might have 3 colors, different colors of roses. With daisies, you can have 3 different types. I only have 2 here, but that's when it says daisies, that's what you need. Or echinacea, I've got 3 colors of echinacea here. They could make a collection, but these are going to be for individual today. I'm not going to get in too much into collections, but just know that those classes are available. And also you need to read your book. It tells you what you need, what specimens there are, how many you need for a specimen, or whether or not it's a spray. This is a spray of roses because there's more than one bud on the stem, or just an individual stem. Okay, when you go out and select your flowers, best time is first thing in the morning. Grab a bucket or a jar, depending upon how many flowers you plan to collect, and put water in it because you're going to need to recut your flower in the water, because I haven't quite figured out. They say you're supposed to cut the flower in the water, but I've got a rose bush like this and I'm taking a specimen here. There's no way I'm going to have that in water. So I cut the flower and then go into the bucket and get it underwater and cut it again about 1 inch from the first. Because what happens when you cut the flower off, it goes and it sucks in a bunch of air because it's all of a sudden panicking because it doesn't have its supply chain for water. And you need sharp clippers. And like I say, those are the 3 things you need. And then you head out to your yard and you want to cut your flower as long as possible. Make sure you get foliage. You must have foliage with your individual specimens. And then make sure it's long enough so that you can stick it in the water and then you leave it in the water after you cut it. So you're going to have a bunch of little pieces of stems at the bottom of your bucket. When you're selecting these flowers, you're looking for the best specimen for show. And that means, like on these gladiolas, they've got stems, but this one here obviously is pretty spent. It's only got a couple flowers left. They're beautiful still, but you've got all this stem that shows it's old. Whereas this one, you want them about half, and especially in gladiolas, you want them as straight up the vine as possible. You don't want them facing different directions. You want them, this is a pretty perfect specimen. And you want half to 1/3 of the flowers open. And that judge will give you a first place, as long as there's nobody with a bigger, prettier flower at the show. And so this flower, you just kind of set it aside. That one's going to keep it at your house. This came off of this one. Extra foliage, because if you happen to cut it off, stick it with the flower. Because the judge wants to see the foliage. That tells the judge a lot about the health of the flower. Neither of these really have problems with bugs, but we'll get into that when we get to some of the others. Okay, now I have 3 echinacea plants. When you're selecting them, this I know just bloomed this morning. It not very showy right now, but by the end of a day or next morning, it will be much prettier. And then, but between these 2, this one is fairly new. You can see this one is very old. You start getting the more hard, this, and the flowers start to fade. So this is the one that you're going to select to show between those 3. just because this one isn't far enough along yet. Get back in there. And also you can see this one has some, I don't know what the damage is, but it's probably wind damage where it's been hitting up against something else. You'd want to take off the worst of those and then leave the rest of them. But you still have foliage, because the judge will knock you down for that, the damage on the foliage. Lavender is one of the hardest things for a judge to select, but this year we are requiring 3 so the judge gets a better idea. I know some were cut, this one was cut without stem, toss it, or without the foliage. And there's one more in here, that one. That one was pretty good flower-wise, but it doesn't have the foliage, so the judge can't judge it. But all these, a lot of the buds are open and they haven't set seed yet, so that means they're good to be shown. And here are 2 trumpet vines. With vines, you can have up to an 18-inch stem. This here is a very nice set. It's got a little bit of bug damage. Actually, this one has less bug damage. You can see there's a little bit of bug damage here on the tips. It's got open flowers and it's got a lot more buds coming on. So the one you're going to want to show though is this one, because there is no bug damage. I've got a little spider here. But this one has bug damage and you'd pluck it off. There, much nicer flower. You're allowed to do that. So that's the specimen for show. Now I've got 2 roses from the same bush. This one, while it's pretty, it's very open. It's been open a day or 2, whereas this one's just coming on, and by nightfall it will be starting to open and be a perfect rose for show. And here you can go through. There's been a cutter bee active. See so those can be taken off, since that whole stem. You cut that one off. You can cut this leaf off, and now he's ready for show. That one, while it's pretty, it's just too far gone, and within a day or 2 of the opening of the fair, it's going to be toast. Now I want to show a spray of roses. Again, is one that's multiple. There are 3 with another bud coming on. And there you look, again, you would look, that's how you want to display it. It's good all the way around. Oh, there's only one little stem here or leaf that's damaged. It looks like something either ate on it or it got knocked up against something else, the stem, and was damaged. This is probably not the best specimen, but I only had 2 sprays, and this was the better of the 2 because this is the end of its first round of flower, so that's what was left. Coreopsis, it's a smaller flower. It goes in a smaller vase. But this one, you can see, this one has bug damage. The bugs have been eating off the petals. If you took the petals off, there wouldn't be much flower left to show. But this is fairly new open, and it's got its foliage, and it can go there. Now my poor zinnias, I'm saving what few I've got left for the fair. Hopefully they'll still be good. Here you've got the zinnias. The flower works these little pistils and stamens work their way up the cone. You see the cone there? And they started out down here like this one. But now it's clear up to the top. It's basically spent. It's got a lot of earwig damage to the petals. So that's one you're going to leave, for another day. This one, it has damage, but it's a much newer specimen to show at the fair. And it's got leaves. It probably would not get first place because I'm sure somebody will come into something better. Here's 2 different varieties, calendula. This one I damaged coming in. This one is a little bit older. You can see a lot more fill in the center. because that's where all the pistils and stamens are, and as they pollinate, they turn brown and go away. And so you watch for your pollen count in those. But this one is an older flower. Then this one, like I say, I damaged that one bringing it in, but this is the one you want to show. Just don't smash it coming in. Okay, these are Shasta daisies. It's 2 varieties, but this one has had a lot of thrip damage. If you look inside, you can see there's black where the thrip, they eat the pollen and make it ugly inside. And then this one just opened yesterday, so it's a very nice flower, other than it's got a little bit of damage from wind or something, but that was the one you'd select to show. Yarrow is a tricky one. This yarrow is very tight. It just opened yesterday, so it's very tight. It's got cute little flowers in there. This one, you can tell it's aged. The pollen has been spent, and so it starts turning brown. That one goes. It might look prettier from a distance, but you get up close, this one's going to last a lot longer. And then we've got phlox. This one, there's a lot of dead flowers on it already. It might be pretty, you could turn it to a side, but the judge is going to look at the whole flower. It's got a lot of nice here. There's one leaf that would be removed. Actually 2. So, but that's not the one you're going to show anyway, because it's got some dead flowers. This one, it's got new buds that are getting ready to open. So it's fairly new. It's got a bud that fell off. But this one does have a little bit of a problem. This leaf has bug damage. You pull it off, clip it off, and then you put it in your vase. There. Ready for show. Okay, now I haven't dealt with the sunflower, but I brought that one in to show you. You need to make sure that the vase you put your flower in is going to handle the flower you're bringing. You also, when you're selecting a vase to put your flower in, you want to get one that shows off your flower. Do I have an empty vase? Because a lot of times you can get a phlox with a long one, so they go in, you know, say this one, but you can see this is kind of off balance. So this one goes here. These little flowers always need to be in this size of a vase. The rose usually goes in this size if you can get a longer stem. If not, you can put them in the smaller ones. These are smaller roses, so they go. Trumpet vine, obviously I think this one, if we had more water in it, I could, you know, put it up like that and it would be a lot showier. I should have brought more stem to it. This is a very nice size for this one. Lavender, judges hate it, but that could go either vase. I think it would look better in the other one, the other size vase. See how much better it looked? But the calendula got to go there. For those itty bitty flowers, I have what we're going to call a baby's breath here, but it's a tundra flower, not a baby's breath. But we provide these vials so that you're allowed to show these pansies, violas, little flowers like scabiosas. That goes in these. They display much easier because if you took this dude, put him in that vase, you don't even know he's there. So to help display better at the fair, we provide vials and a nice stand for it to sit in. And this is the size you need for these, unless you come up with a much bigger, longer stem. And then you're going to have to find something sturdier. And this year at the fair, we are going to provide pebbles, gravel. What do you call it? The pea gravel. And so you can stabilize, put more weight in the base of your flowers. Because that you would have to do with this one. This guy's a monster. I left the extra leaf on it, even though it should come off because of bug damage. But that is what's stabilizing this thing in its pot. And this is not one I'd bring to the fair anyway because the little yellow petals have died. But I just wanted to bring this one to show this, because a sunflower, you want it a lot earlier in its bloom. this one came on early and I said, okay, it's where it doesn't belong anyway. I need to remove it, so I brought it. I've now removed it from its spot that it planted itself in. Okay, and when you come to the fair, you will have to have some things taken care of. Department E, these kinds of flowers, cut flowers, you have to have it, this filled out. Anywhere there's red, it says you need to do something with that particular space. Your name, your number, your address, and your phone number. And then you have to circle whether you're an adult, youth, or kid. I'm getting used to saying that. And there's also professional or non-professional. And then you mark which flowers you're bringing. And once you've got that done, you make a tag for each one that you're bringing. And you fill it out. And the best way to put these on the vases, pull the flower, put them on, drop it back in. That's all I have. I hope to see you all at the fair.